Hey YouTube, Matches 860. Smoking a very old K. Woody. Take a picture, because you don't see me smoking a straight stem very often. And in it, Lane Limited Ready Rub. Gonna talk about Lane Limited Ready Rub and Edgeworth Ready Rub today. First, I want to give a shout out to Yogi over in Germany. Started making some videos in English. Really interesting to be able to hear his thoughts. Been watching him for a long time, but I've tried to figure out as he goes along what he's saying. Anyway, I'll put a link down in the bucket. Check him out. Lane Limited Ready Rub is the old Edgeworth Ready Rub recipe. And the company that initially started out with Edgeworth Ready Rub was Larison Brothers, and they started in 1888 making chewing tobacco and plug tobacco. In the early 1900s, they came up with Edgeworth slices. I'm going to put up a picture of an old tin from the slices era. You can imagine they sold a lot of this stuff because these tins are all over the place. They're easy to get. In reading the history of that company, all I found out was that it was pretty much dissolved in 1974. But Edgeworth Ready Rub was still being made. And I do know that Lane was making the Edgeworth Ready Rub in the 2000s, right before it was discontinued totally. Lane was able to hold on to the recipe but couldn't use the Edgeworth name, and that's how Lane Limited Ready Rub came about. I should also mention before I forget, Sutliff Tobacco makes a Edgeworth match. I haven't tried it, but reading the reviews, it sounds like it's pretty much the same thing. Back in the early 2000s, I was getting really tired of vanilla Cavendish, which I had been smoking. And that's when I made the transition to drugstore blends. Carter Hall, Prince Albert, Sir Walter Raleigh. Went to a tobacco discount store one day and saw the Edgeworth on the shelf. being a total newbie, because I wasn't really into pipe information at that time. I didn't know what I was buying. I took a gamble. I probably smoked 3 canisters of it before it ended up being discontinued. Fantastic stuff. The ingredients vary depending on what source you're looking at. So pretty much what I'm going to do is just take everything I read and put it into one lump sum. It's Burley, Virginia, flavored with rum, chocolate or cocoa, and or both. And molasses. It smells from the canister just like a Nutri-Grain bar. And if you sniff long enough, you'll get little hints of chocolate like you do when you smoke it. And I couldn't wait to get a hold of this Lane Limited, because I had remembered that I enjoyed the Edgeworth. As soon as I lit the first bowl, I had forgotten about a side note that I got with this. And I couldn't describe it back in the day, but I can now. Especially after my experience with Black Frigate. I think it's the rum that's in the blend. Gives you that popsicle stick woody taste. And I think it actually comes because I smoke it a little bit too aggressively, but anyway. So as I smoked the first bowl, it appeared to me to be the exact same thing, without the Edgeworth label, of course. I think I have a picture of an old Edgeworth canister. I'll put that up. So, I couldn't wait to do this review, and I was all set to do it last week. Got a message from Phil Rivara that he had got a hold of some 2007 Edgeworth Ready Rub, and he was going to send me some. But that was one of the reasons I put off doing this last week. I think Phil and I had talked about it, and I said, you know, from what I've read, Lane was still making it in 2007, so it's probably going to taste pretty much the same as the Lane Limited. I was mistaken. Phil's sample, which could be due to age, or it could be due to a slightly different recipe, I'm not sure. His sample was much smoother. In some ways a nicer smoke, in some ways not. Very subtle though. Really interesting to smoke them side by side. anyway. There's some real magic that happens with this. We talk about heavy aromatics and very well done topped aromatics. This is extremely well done. Back in the day when I bought this the first time, I never could have told you what the toppings were because I didn't detect them back then. I'd never know there was rum in this if I hadn't had the experience with the Black Frigate. The cocoa are like little pops that you get here and there. Chocolate notes. It's wonderful. And I think the most amazing thing is the molasses. You kind of have to hunt down because the molasses is boosting the flavor of the burley to the point where that nuttiness and the earthiness is really coming through. You can understand why this was such a popular smoke back in the day. If you want to travel back in time to the early 1900s, or even back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, this is the stuff to smoke. That's what I got to say about Lane Limited Ready Rub. Thanks an awful lot for joining me, and have a fantastic Easter weekend.